My name is Natalie Chen. I'm 35, founder of Stratus Innovations in Seattle. For years, I was the invisible sibling, the one they brushed aside, underestimated, and never truly saw. I thought my sister's wedding might finally change that. Spoiler, it didn't. Just 2 weeks after signing a $30 million 0 cents contract with my future brother-in-law's firm, they sat me at a tiny table near the kitchen doors beside stacks of catering trays. While laughter echoed through the ballroom and glasses clinked over new business ventures, I ate my dinner in the shadows. And when I learned that Emily, my own sister, had approved that seating chart, something inside me fractured. If you've ever built your own success only to watch your family pretend it doesn't exist, stay with me. Because this isn't just a story about a lousy seat. It's about claiming your worth, even if it means leaving them behind. If stories like this resonate with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these conversations alive. Let's dive in. I thought this wedding might finally prove I mattered to them. Spoiler, it didn't. The invitation had been sitting on my kitchen counter for 3 days, half hidden under a grocery list and an old flyer for a downtown condo. I only noticed it while decluttering. Heavy ivory cardstock. Copper foiled lettering. Elegant script. Mr. and Mrs. David Chen request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter, Emily Chen, to Mr. Jonathan Blake. My chest tightened as I read it. The ink was barely dry on my company's $30 million 0 cents contract with Blake Enterprises. And yet I was reading this like a distant acquaintance. I dropped the envelope onto the counter, arms folded tight, bracing against old memories. Berkeley graduation day. My parents missed my speech because Emily had a tennis tournament. They showed up as the audience was leaving. Mom waved like she'd been there the entire time. I stared at the RSVP card, blank except for accepts or declines. No personal note, no mention of where I'd sit. I let it drop back into the pile of mail. Not today. By mid-afternoon, I buried myself in work emails. My team at Stratus Innovations had just wrapped the beta phase for our new cloud-based logistics platform. Ethan, my COO, flagged several investor updates. Usually, I'd reply in seconds, but my mind kept circling back to that invitation. A few hours later, my phone buzzed. "Hey, Natalie," my mother's voice crackled over the speaker. "Did you get the invitation?" I pinched the bridge of my nose. I did. "That's wonderful. Emily must be thrilled." I noticed there's no seating chart, I added, keeping my tone light. Silence lingered. "Oh, well, we're still sorting things out. You know how big weddings are. Just come and behave, Natalie." Behave. Like I was the ticking time bomb of the family. I ended the call before my patience ran out. That night, as I microwaved leftover pad thai, my phone lit up with a FaceTime ring from Jake. His grin popped onto the screen, slightly pixelated but still carrying that gentle warmth that first drew me to him. "Hey, stranger, you look tense." I held up the invitation. "Guess who's getting married?" He raised an eyebrow. "You going?" I sighed. I won't give them more ammo to call me distant. Jake's expression softened. "Then, I'll be your +1. If you want." My chest squeezed tight. "Yeah, I'd like that." The next morning, before I could back out, I checked accept with pleasure, sealed the RSVP, and dropped it into the mail slot of my apartment building downtown. That afternoon, in my office overlooking Lake Union, my phone buzzed again. "Emily, thanks for coming, Nat. Really appreciate it." I stared at the message, hope flickering beneath an ache I couldn't name. You'd think landing a $30 million 0 cents deal would finally make them see me. You'd be wrong. The Blake estate looked ripped from a magazine. Pristine gardens, marble fountains, endless manicured lawns. Stepping out of my silver EV, I smoothed my emerald dress, determined to radiate calm. Jake joined me, adjusting his blazer. "This is a lot," he murmured, surveying guests with champagne flutes and pastel suits. "Classic Blake family extravagance," I said, forcing a smile. Inside, my stomach churned. The invitation had said garden party, but as Jake and I entered the circular courtyard, rimmed with imported roses and warm uplighting. It was clear the phrase was just code for pure opulence. I scanned the crowd, spotting my parents near a sleek white bar draped in linen. My mother's eyes widened, surprise flickering as she took in Jake beside me. Her gaze skimmed my emerald dress like she was assessing a decor choice she hadn't approved. "You came," she said, brushing a dry kiss across my cheek. "And who's this handsome man?" "Jake Morales," he said, extending a hand, his voice polite and smooth. "Wonderful to meet you, Mrs. Chen." Her smile stayed polite but strained. "Likewise." Before I could speak, she looped her arm through mine and guided me toward a cluster of guests gathered near a marble fountain. "Your father's talking with Jonathan Blake. You should say hello." Jonathan stood at the center of the group in a perfectly tailored navy suit, laughing at something my father said. When he saw me, he straightened and reached out his hand. "So you're the brilliant mind behind Stratus Innovations," he said, his grip firm. A flush crept up my neck. "Thank you, Mr. Blake. We're excited for the partnership." "Please call me Jonathan." His eyes lingered, sharp yet not unkind. "Claire speaks highly of your team. The rollout's already creating a buzz." Before I could reply, my mother interjected with a brittle laugh. "Oh, Natalie's always been our little computer whiz," she said, like describing a childhood hobby. "But Emily's really shining in the family business." Jonathan frowned. "Emily never mentioned her sister runs Stratus." I glanced sideways, spotting Emily chatting with colleagues from Chen Group. She noticed us, caught Jonathan's puzzled look, and drifted over with her usual breezy confidence. "Didn't seem relevant," Emily said, shrugging as she gave me a one-armed hug. "She's busy with her tech stuff." "Tech stuff?" I echoed under my breath. Jonathan raised an eyebrow but said nothing more. Just then, Terry swept over in a blush pink gown, glittering in the late sunlight. "Natalie, you made it," she exclaimed, air-kissing both my cheeks. Her gaze dropped to my dress. "Emerald, so practical." I forced my smile. "You look beautiful, too." If you've ever felt unseen in rooms you helped build, stick with me. And hit subscribe. What happened next at that wedding changed everything. Jake's hand touched the small of my back, a gentle show of support I hadn't realized I needed until right then. As conversations shifted, Jonathan steered things back to business. "We're already noticing big efficiency gains," he said. "I'd love to hear more about your development process." I swallowed, forcing my voice steady. "I built Stratus from the ground up, no family backing, all me." It dropped into the circle like a quiet grenade. Silence hovered for a second before Jonathan slowly nodded, respect flickering across his features. "That's impressive." My father cleared his throat and took a hasty gulp of his drink. My mother lunged for a new topic, pointing out some fresh flower beds by the guest cottages like her life depended on it. But the truth was out there now. Later, as Jake and I drifted toward the valet line, he leaned close. "You honestly think they'll treat you differently at the wedding itself?" I didn't answer. The knot in my gut already knew the answer. Turns out, when they said family seating, they meant the staff corner. The wedding planner's professional smile slipped as soon as she scrolled to my name. I saw her finger hover, pause, then stab the screen as if hoping the letters might rearrange. "Natalie Chen, +1, she murmured. Her voice brightened in a way that scratched like sandpaper. "Ah, yes. Table O. Table O? Oh." Before I could ask, she waved over a catering assistant. "If you'll follow me, please." Jake laced his fingers through mine as we walked. The grand reception hall sparkled with chandeliers and pastel blooms. Guests were already laughing over champagne and gold-rimmed plates. But we didn't stop there. Instead, we were led down a narrow hallway behind the kitchen. The air shifted, scented now with fryer oil and dishwasher steam. A door opened, and there it was, a wobbly folding table in the far corner, barely draped in white linen. 2 metal chairs beside plastic tubs of dirty glasses. I blinked. "You're kidding." The catering manager, older, sympathetic, couldn't meet my eyes. "I'm so sorry. Last-minute changes. The bride insisted." Jake's jaw clenched. "This is ridiculous." Before I could speak, a voice drawled behind us. Well, everything all right here?" Tara appeared in the doorway, a glass of champagne lifted in one manicured hand, her smile so sugary it made my teeth ache. Her blush gown sparkled under harsh fluorescent lights as though she were starring in her own movie. "There's been a mistake," Jake said firmly. "Natalie's the bride's sister." Tara's grin didn't waver. "We had to prioritize. Dad's business partners, close friends, you understand, right?" I parted my lips, but words stalled. Over Tara's shoulder I spotted Emily, lingering at the edge of the grand hall, watching everything unfold and doing absolutely nothing. Humiliation slammed into me like a slap. "I'm your sister," I managed, my voice sounding foreign to my own ears. Tara tilted her head slightly. "Exactly. Which makes you extended family now, I suppose?" Jake stepped forward, but I pressed my hand against his chest. "Not here, not now." "I need a minute," I murmured. Jake nodded, eyes dark. "I'll be right outside." I slipped away and ducked into the nearest bathroom, a single-occupancy powder room off the corridor. Locking the door, I sank onto the closed toilet lid and pressed my palms against my eyes. But the tears still came. Not just tears for today, but for 35 years of this. 15th birthday, forgotten. Berkeley graduation, missed. Every milestone, every achievement, overshadowed, minimized, twisted to make Emily shine brighter. And now this. Alone, staring at the cracked tiles, something in me broke clean in half. Enough. I snatched up my phone, scrolling fast until I found Ethan's name. Hit call. He answered instantly. "Natalie, everything okay? I thought you were at the wedding of the century." "Ethan, cancel the Blake contract, effective immediately." A stunned silence. "Are you sure?" "Completely." I hung up before he could argue. I smoothed my dress, dabbed my makeup, and headed back toward the kitchen, each step calm and steady. If they wanted drama, they'd get it. Some people throw tantrums at weddings. I end multi-million-dollar deals. I left the bathroom and walked the hall, pulse cool and controlled. That part of me, the one desperate for their approval, attention, love, felt like it burned out completely in that tiny bathroom. What remained was sharper, clearer. The reception tent buzzed with soft jazz and murmured conversations. Waitstaff glided between tables, balancing trays of champagne, oblivious to the quiet battle raging in my chest. I spotted the head table. Jonathan Blake sat at the center, flanked by Tara in her shimmering blush gown and Emily in her tailored satin dress. Around them clustered executives, family friends, laughing like nothing in the world could touch them. I didn't hesitate. I cut across the room, weaving between tables, ignoring the polite nods and awkward half-smiles from distant relatives I hadn't seen in years. Jonathan noticed me first, his eyes narrowed, confusion flickering as he straightened in his chair, one hand gripping a crystal wine glass. Emily's gaze followed, shifting from detached to stunned. And then Tara. Her smile froze mid-laugh, color draining from her cheeks as if she already knew what was about to hit. I stopped 2 steps from the head table, pulled out my phone and dialed. "Ethan, it's Natalie," I said, my voice steady, pitched loud enough to carry. "Effective immediately, terminate the Blake contract." Gasps rippled through the tables like shockwaves. Jonathan half rose, palms braced flat against the linen cloth. "Natalie," he said, voice low and tight, "let's not do this here." I turned and met his stare, head on. "Oh, we're absolutely doing this here." Natalie pushed to stand, nearly tipping her wine glass. "Nat, please, let's talk privately, okay? This isn't the time." I focused on her, letting years of quiet hurt harden my voice. "You've had years to talk, Emily. You chose silence." Silence spread across the tent. Near the dessert table, a spoon clattered to the floor. From across the room, I saw 2 men rise, Michael Lee from Harbor Capital and Gerald Evans from Alpine Ventures, exchanging quick glances as they approached me. "Miss Chen," Michael said gently, eyes flicking to Jonathan. "Could we discuss Stratus just briefly?" Whispers swelled around us like an incoming storm. Tara opened her mouth, but whatever cutting remark she'd rehearsed died unsaid. I offered no one another word. Turning, Phone still in hand, I strode out of the tent without looking back. Jake caught up near the valet stand, falling into step beside me with a grin curling at the edges like slow-burning fire. Jake leaned in, voice low, meant only for me. That was legendary. Funny thing about burning bridges, it makes for a much clearer skyline. By Monday morning, my inbox was a war zone. Subject lines screamed, URGI termination, please call, Jonathan Blake reconsideration. 14 missed calls blinked on my phone, 2 from Emily, 1 from my mother, several from numbers I didn't need caller ID to recognize. I sat at my desk, sipping my Americano like it was any ordinary Monday. Ethan appeared in my doorway, phone in hand. You weren't kidding. They're blowing up every channel, short of sending carrier pigeons. I twisted my chair to face him. Good. Let them sweat. A grin tugged at his mouth. I've drafted the termination letter. Send it? Do it, I said. Before he could leave, my phone buzzed again. A text from Emily. You've ruined everything. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. Jake arrived, carrying 2 coffees like peace offerings. Without missing a beat, he handed me one. Or maybe you finally saved your own dignity. Shame she didn't figure it out sooner. I let out a dry laugh and dropped my phone on the desk. By mid-morning, the calls shifted tone. Michael Lee from Harbor Capital left a voicemail. Natalie, we'd love to discuss new partnerships. An hour later, Gerald Evans from Alpine Ventures emailed about a meeting. Momentum was shifting. At 11:32, Claire Jensen's name popped up. I answered immediately. Claire, they're scrambling, she whispered. Jonathan's called an emergency board meeting. Ops is panicking. Legal's a mess. I leaned back. And you? A pause. Then gently. Between us, I don't blame you. For the first time since that wedding, I smiled. After lunch, I found an email from Aunt Diana. Natalie, I heard what happened. Finally, someone in this family broke the cycle. I'm proud of you. Aunt Diana. My chest tightened with resolve. Before I could reply, another text from Emily came through. Lunch. Just you and me, tomorrow. The small Capitol Hill bistro smelled of garlic and herbs. I arrived early, wanting the choice to stay or leave. Emily was already there, looking small in the booth, fingers tapping a water glass. When she saw me, something in her face cracked. So, I said, folding my hands, you wanted to talk. She took a shuddering breath. I was jealous, always have been, since high school. You were the smart one, the driven one. No matter what I did, it never felt like enough. Then why? I asked. It was easier to tear you down than admit I'd never catch up, she whispered. Jonathan just amplified it. That's not my burden anymore, I said evenly. Emily winced. Is there any way to fix this? Maybe, I said after a pause, but it starts with you fixing yourself. I'm done carrying your insecurities. She nodded miserably. I deserve that. You deserve a chance to do better. What you do with it? That's on you. Outside, Jake pulled up, rolling down his window, smiling like sunlight breaking through clouds. Ready to go? That night, a new email arrived from Aunt Diana. Dinner next week, just us girls. You've earned it. I smiled, looking out over Seattle's summer lights, thinking, maybe the best seat at the table is the one I build for myself. For the first time in years, I wasn't dreading the next family dinner. The echoes of betrayal still lingered, but they were overpowered by something stronger. Self-respect reclaimed, boundaries redrawn. Because when injustice meets unwavering resolve, even the most gilded tables can be overturned. If you've ever been overlooked or underestimated, I'd love to hear your story. Drop me a comment and let me know how you reclaimed your worth. And remember, protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's survival. Stand tall, speak your truth, and build the seat you deserve.